See my screen now?
Yes, I can see it.
Awesome. So this session, we're going to be talking about web intelligence dashboards and some of the amazing things you can do. Web intelligence has really grown up and had so much maturity over the last few years, so that in recent years, it is becoming and is a legitimate dashboard tool. And so much so that this year, for the IBIS Most Valuable Dashboard Award, was won by a web intelligence dashboard. And I think that's really awesome. I'm going to show you that dashboard later on in the presentation and go over some of the really cool features that were in there. So I'm just super excited to share some of the amazing things that you can do in here, and all within your business objects environment. All your security flows through, everything is available here for you. So tons of cool things that we can do out of the box with web intelligence. And then I'm also going to spend a few minutes showing you some third-party tools that you can use to enhance your web intelligence dashboard as well. But most of what I'm going to show today is going to be out of the box, what you can do with web intelligence. So the first three that I'm going to show you are from a course that we put together on web intelligence dashboards. And this is one of the dashboards from that course. And so there's a few things. This is using the tile chart component here. And I'll show you some other examples of that being used. It's a cool component that gives some really cool functionality and flexibility right out of the box. So being able to set thresholds, being able to show the indicator or hide the indicator if you don't want it, and add some good descriptive material to the bottom of that as well. There's actually, I think, another like a subtitle area here that you could use as well. And I'll point that out with the Mitsubishi Dashboard, which was our award-winning dashboard. So other things on here, some alerting you'll notice. In this chart at the bottom, notice that we have these indicators to give it kind of that scorecard type feel. And then this looks like a bar chart on top of a table, but it's really not. It's actually little pieces in here that are used to build the line representative of that salesperson's revenue. And so it will grow as their revenue grows or shrink, depending when the data changes. And all of that is using a few HTML components or coding in the variables in order to achieve that. So there's no issue with this ever becoming unaligned and not staying within itself. It's actually part of the table. So that's a cool feature. This indicator here is just using character char 9650, something like that. And then additionally, we added conditional formatting on here. So when it meets a certain condition, it's red, and when it meets a different condition, it's green. So it was easy to apply that as well to achieve our scorecard look here. This chart over here on the right is showing an indicator. So in gray is our last year's sales. And then this is achieving alerting on your chart, which is kind of not out of the box. There's not an alerting one on your charts. However, it can be achieved. And that's what this component does, or this little chart here has another series for when the sales for the current year exceed last year, and a different series for when the sales is less than the previous year. So all of this to really help drive focus, and which is what dashboards are supposed to do, right? to drive action and show where action needs to be taken. A couple other cool things in this one, these selectors here at the top. I'm going to do a demo later on to show how this works, but essentially this is just your element linking, which was brought into 4.2 many service packs ago. I can't remember which one right now. It might even have been in 4.1. But element linking is a very useful functionality to be able to click on one thing and have it, in essence, drill to another level of your charts. So you'll see that the data is changing based on the selection up here. But really, this is just a table with element linking working on it. And then another cool thing that was added in 4.2 SP3 is the intra-document linking. So intra-document linking is a way to jump from one report tab to another. But in this case, we can put it up at the top of the report so that it's more like a dashboard or like a website navigation, which is up at the top instead of down at the bottom. Further to this, we added some HTML code to make the round buttons. And so that is not by default. That took some HTML coding to add to the cells for this. And we cover that in the course as well about how we did that. But it just goes to show you, at no extra cost, you can have round buttons if you want in Web Intelligence. So many things that we can do in here. Next dashboard, Paul showed a little bit of this in his first presentation today. And this one is just showing real easy how we can add icons to a report. All of these upper spots here are using that same element linking concept to be able to drive and change the data below here. And then at the top, again, we have the intra-document linking, be able to jump to one of the other tabs or go to the home page as well. So lots of stuff that we can do in Web Intelligence. Let's see. This particular dashboard, as he mentioned, was based off of an Excelsius dashboard that was created in Dubai, and so it also has the ability to use the input controls to change the hospital. So just get very specific depending on which hospital that you're selecting on there. So a lot of cool functionality with that as well. This particular chart here is just really behind it is a column chart, and on top of it is a PNG image. So it's a clear image and it just fills up behind the scene. So as we change the data, this is really just a column chart, a fat column chart that's filling up behind the figures here. That's why you'll see a little bit of space right in there. I probably need to move that over slightly to get a better look there. But so many things right out of the box that we can do with Web Intelligence to achieve really cool visualizations. All right. So that's using icons and intra-document linking. Next dashboard. So this particular module that we talked about, I'm going to take you real quick through each of these three. Notice the backgrounds on them. So there's this one, and there's this one. So that's one of the things that we wanted to point out here is that it's really easy to add backgrounds to your document to give your dashboard a different look and feel. This one is just a cell with color added in the appearance tab. That's all it is. That's as simple as that. This one happens to be color with a cell laid over it to give it some gradation in the color. And then the first one here, this particular background, if there's any longtime users of Excelsius out there, you might recognize this background because my colleague Amy just used one of the backgrounds from Excelsius, took a print screen of it and added it as an image to this Webi report to use as a background here. So it kind of already had the squares for us to use in here, which you may or may not want to have. But that's why it has this look, distinctive look, which happened to come from Excelsius. So just a small thing to point out, you can make a simple, clear, clean white background, or you can add color to it as well. And there's many things you can do along with that. I really love the clean appearance of the white a lot, but for any of you who want to go to town with some adding color to your dashboard, these are options as well. So let me come back to this chart, this tab here for a moment. Right in the middle, this one that's moving, this is a SVG. Also, my colleague Amy added this one. Just to show you that you can take code from an SVG and add it to a Web Intelligence report, to a cell within Web Intelligence. And so you get this movement of the necklace on this VASTAT technology image, for example, a logo, a moving logo. We just wanted to show, you know, kind of the sky's the limit. If you have some SVG that you want to add, you can do that in Web Intelligence and expand the look and feel of your dashboard just by adding some SVG. This map over here on the left, this is also using element linking, and this time it's using it to actually focus in on different areas. So focusing in on the west, focusing on the east coast, and then for a view of the whole country and what that looks like. So again, just element linking, and in this case, it happens to actually be 3 separate charts that are just loading based on formulas within the cell that say, when this selection is made, show the east chart, or when this selection is made, show the west chart. So not complicated at all, but you can see how well it expands the capability of your report. This is a modified butterfly report or chart, like half of the wing going out over here. So many things that we can do with our charting in Web Intelligence. Speaking of space saving, I want to come back here. So this chart area over here, we've talked about this in the past. This uses a dynamic month period. So either showing the chart monthly or quarterly. We could also do other time periods as well. But what I like about it is that it's still using the same square footage on my dashboard just by switching between monthly and quarterly in my input control here. It's showing one chart or the other based on that. And then also within each of those charts, we have a dynamic dimension as well. A dynamic measure. So in this case, we're showing revenue, but we can easily switch it to show number of orders or number of products or total discount. So all, again, some key metrics all in the same place, but easily be able to toggle between them and show that information easily there. Let's see, I think there was something else on this last tab. yeah, I'm going to come back and talk about this chart later on in this session. It's a polynomial trend chart in order to get this curve here, which happened to take a whole bunch of variables to achieve this. And so we saved it as a shared element to be able to add into other reports. So I'm going to show you how we did that real quick as well. And then this is a Pareto chart to get that 80-20. So for a selected city up here, I can see my top customers and who are in the top 20% of my customers within that city. Here's for these customers, and here's my group of my top 20 customers that are providing 80% of my income in Miami. So Pareto charts really provide a lot of valuable information. All right, and again, this is using element linking. So when I'm changing a city at the top, it's changing the selected city below to show the customers within that particular city. Okay, so many things. All right, the next thing I'm gonna show is our third-party partner need for this. Paul mentioned this in his first session as well. And just wanna show you some cool things if you wanna add and expand your dashboard. They have some very cool components that you can add to Web Intelligence to make your dashboard really fun to work with. So one of the first things I want to talk about is this on report input control. So it looks like just like our input controls that we have over on the left, but it's actually on the report right near where we want to be interacting and changing all our data as we're making selections in here. So I love that. This particular chart is kind of a three-dimensional. Notice the width of the bar changes as we make a selection on here. There's a good example. So it's showing two different measures at once on a column chart. So this is showing that this particular product showing here, it's got large sales, and this is my particular, in this case, Christmas revenue showing for this particular product. So provides a lot of information in a small space again. I love that being able to show two measures at once. And not only is it the leading product within this group, but also having the most sales in here for the Christmas revenue. This chart over here on the left is a cool drilling chart that Need4Viz has, which I absolutely love. So I can click either on the name or on the bar and drill to the next level and go back. Super easy just by clicking on that button. So I can click on the number, I can click on the bar and go back and forth. And then within here, I can keep going again. And now it turns into a pie chart. So all of this configurable within this chart, but I just felt it takes drilling to the next level and it really makes it fun to work with. Not just fun, but it provides so much valuable business intelligence. So as you're looking, okay, I know my video group is doing well. Internals is not doing so well. Let me dig into that. Okay, so two of them are doing great, but this particular one is paltry, and we need to look and see who's selling in there. All right, so now I can have a conversation about that product easily because I was able to drill through right to the detail right away and have a conversation about that. So I love that one. This lower chart here on the left, this particular chart allows the user to pick how they want to display it. So right now it's 2 line charts, but I can switch that over and change this to a column chart if that helps to my data better. And all of this is allowing your user to decide how they want to visualize that data. Switch it over to a bar chart, and you see how quick it is on the fly. They can decide how they want to view that information. Love that. And then this very cool table that they have here. And my favorite part about this is the filtering option. So on my product list here, I can start typing monitor, hit enter, and notice how it filtered my column right there for my monitors. And notice, see, monitor is not the first word in that. It's the last word or in the middle, depending on which product it is. I love that. And then I can remove the filter very intuitively here by just clicking on the X there and choose something else to filter on if I want. I can look at a particular sales guy, Berto, and now I can focus in on his sales as well.
Hey, Roxanne.
So, yes.
We had some questions come in here, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So one of the questions is asking, drilling of the chart used scope of analysis, question mark. What if the value are more than what the chart can hold? If you need to look at the question, it's in the Q&A.
So this doesn't, if like with other drill, if it goes beyond the scope of analysis, there's the preferences that you have where you can specify either stop when it gets to the end of the drill or extend beyond that with a warning. And that's always helpful because in this case, this data set is very small. I think a little over 800,000 rows of data, which I know is not real life. Most of the time you're dealing with millions of records. And so once you go beyond that scope of analysis, it could potentially bring in that next level of detail could be a ton of data. So you would want to be aware of that. And so that can be set in the preferences in Web Intelligence up here, which screen is, there we go. Preferences are right here. And I can set the preferences for Web Intelligence and how it's handling the scope of analysis. So right here. So prompt when the drill requires additional data, I would want that selected. Synchronized drill on report blocks, that's a cool one where you would want to, similar to the report elements where it lets you choose which blocks you want to have the drill affect, okay? And then I always recommend this option here for on a duplicate report. And that really applies to the regular drilling, not this particular chart that Need for Viz has. This will open it on a separate page. That does not apply for the Need for Viz object. Because as you saw, the drilling for that particular chart that they provide is all within the component here. It doesn't put you on a different page, which is, I love it because it's, with the standard out of the box drilling, it opens up the drill filters at the top and you can get kind of paint yourself into a corner and then you make a change and it's can be hard to get back to where you were drilling in the first place, or it can get complicated. So that's why I love this component so much, the simplicity of it. Was there another question?
Yes, we had a few here. And another question was, how did you create the filter on the table at the bottom?
Oh, this particular table? This
Yes,
is
I believe so.
the need for viz component. Yeah. That's a good question. No work necessary on my part because it all came with the component. It's part of the need for viz component to turn on the filtering option on there and the search option on there. So it's part of the component. But good question.
Awesome. And one more question here. Do shared elements always need to be queries in the dependent document ? Is there a way to enter document link without doing so?
They would have to be part of the same report. Yeah. Because, well, I'll show you in a moment when I set up one and go through the details of that, and that might help clarify that for you. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. So the last one now, before I get to the demo is, of course, my session has expired. This is the award-winning dashboard for the 2020 Dashboard Awards. Was this Web Intelligence report dashboard. And I had the privilege of being able to work with Mitsubishi on this dashboard, and I love it. It's demo data that we're going to show here, so none of it's real or live or connected. That's why I can't just refresh this report because it's static dummy data. Okay, so you'll see a lot of the elements that we've been talking about on the other dashboard.
I don't think we can see it yet.
Oh no, maybe I need to stop sharing and reshare. All right, how about now?
Perfect, there it is.
Awesome. Okay, so here's the 2020 most valuable dashboard. And it's this web intelligence report that the executives use at Mitsubishi, and incorporates a lot of the things that I talked about earlier in this session. Up here, this is intra-document linking that goes to these other tabs here, but they can use this HTML backgrounds here to give it this look that we want. These are the tiles that I spoke about earlier. Notice the coloring, use of the coloring, and the extra fields in here to give information. Here's the objective. This is what was expected, and this is where you're at now. So lots of cool information in here. I love the clean layout of this dashboard. Tons of information. The header area of the report is being used for, has their logo, name of the report, date, and then the navigation on here. So clean, beautiful looking dashboard. Let's see. So this is, again, element linking in here. And by using the option to display based on a formula, it's showing various charts on here or hiding various charts. And I'll show you how we do that. Let's see what else. I think I'm running low on time. So I'm going to switch to this velocity one real quick here, just to show more detail, a lot of beautiful, and then it links to more detail reports using just the open document linking that can get them down to the very detailed report. So before, they had a very large Excel looking spreadsheet that they used every day for all this information, and it was super tiny font. and it was hand printed and delivered to all the executives every day. Now they have this cool dashboard that they can use and interact with and see that same information updated every day for them. And it's fun to work with. So excited about that. All right, so now I'm going to show a quick demo of, and I need to stop sharing and go back to the other screen. Okay, and start a new report. And so on this one, I'm going to show just a couple of things real quick. I'm going to start off with no data source, which we rarely ever do. But the purpose of it is to show you how, so I have no data in here, right? I'm going to use shared elements to bring in that polynomial chart, and you'll see how it brings in all the data, including all the variables for that particular chart that I want to use. So at this polytrend line variable, there. So here's my chart already created for me, and notice now I have data. It created the query for me and loaded all the variables that were needed in order to get that trend line in there. So I love that about shared elements. Once you do something really cool like that, that others can use, save it as a shared element so that they could bring it into their dashboards as well, or into their reports. All right, I'm going to edit this real quick and add product group in here just to show you how I created the navigation on here with the element linking. So I'm going to drop product group and just drop it over here. And then I'm going to turn it into a horizontal table just to get them going across the top. So now already you can see that this could be my navigation on here. I'm going to delete that title in there. And I'm going to add product group, product name, orders and revenue in the table here. Okay. And expand my revenue. So I'm going to add element linking to this. And so I'll select linking and add element link. So it says select the object that you want to use. In this case, it's going from this table that we're starting off with, and there's really only product group. So it kind of doesn't matter whether I choose all objects or single objects. There's only one in this case. So I'll say next. And I could give it a name if I wanted to, which would show up over here in the panel. I'm not going to name it right now, but I could. And then I could select what I wanted to apply that to. And in this case, I want to apply it to both the chart and the table. However, I don't want to select the whole report, because you'll notice that if I select that, it's also including this particular table, which is my navigation table. So it will filter itself, which is not what I want. So I'm going to check my chart and my table and say finish. All right, so now if I click on video, both will filter for that. However, did you know, if you've done this before, well, that's interesting. There's a divide by zero error because there's only one. That makes sense. Did you know that we can only also use the header of this table to bring it back to all products? That's a cool thing that we did with the Mitsubishi Dashboard. And so I don't really want it to say product group. I want it to say something else. And so in order to change that, I have to disable it as a linking element. It won't let me do any formatting. For example, I also want to increase the font on this and make them bold. And then I want to change the name of this. Maybe I'll say all groups or totals or company totals, something like that. And we'll make that bold and bigger. And now I'll enable the element linking again. And now I have my ability to filter on all or go back to the full set by clicking on here. Technically, you can also use this little right click and reset to go back. But particularly when we were using this concept at Mitsubishi, we didn't want to have to teach the executives. You see that tiny little symbol up there? You need to right click on that in order to reset it. It was nice that we could use this header cell as the way to reset the selection on there. So I really like that option. And then if I switch back to here real quick, you can also do add coloring on here as well in the background of the cells to be able to highlight the selected one as well. So, and now I've timed out on that report. Anyway, you see the idea here, not too hard, but you can make some amazing, amazing dashboards either out of the box with Web Intelligence or with some third-party components such as Need for Viz that they have to be able to enhance your Web Intelligence reports as well.